Chalcedony stared down at Sojourner in disbelief. Warring giants, dwarves, elves, and even a few trolls surrounded Queen Tasla's tree. The wind carried the clang of metal beating against metal, and cries of pain from the battle below. She had been played. Cole had been nothing but a distraction. She'd done exactly what Royden wanted. She looked over at Cole, who stood beside her, and she eyed his chest where he had been shot. It was smooth and healed. The sorcerer had healed him, but she was sure his newfound magic was aiding his healing. She didn't understand how it was possible, but after all this time, he was actually Jade's son, and not some child she'd stolen to blend into the human realm. He was an elf. She had so many questions to ask him, but the answers would have to wait. First things first. She concentrated on the battle below and pushed back her guilt. In its place was the same cold, ancient anger she had felt when she had seen Cole get shot by Agent Ellis. "Stay here," Chalcedony ordered, and phased away from the hill before Cole could argue. She reappeared along the edges of the battlefield. She had expected to see Royden, Queen Isis, or Tetrick in the field, but they were nowhere in sight. She suspected they were inside when she saw 5 of Queen Isis's soldiers standing side by side, blocking the entrance to Queen Tasla's ancient tree. When any of Queen Tasla's soldiers tried to get past the barricade, one of the sentries would push them back, and another one of the soldiers would engage them, preventing them from reaching the tree. Knowing Sojourner's wards would prevent her from phasing directly inside, Chalcedony stalked toward the sentries. All 5, 3 giants and 2 elves, scrutinized the fighting with a violent hunger. She would happily give the bored sentries something to do. "Move out of my way," Chalcedony ordered. "Queenling, welcome to the party," a female giant with a light brown skin and gray eyes greeted. "Better late than never." "I am a queen, not a queenling. Are you sure you are up to fighting me?" Chalcedony withdrew Mayhem from its sheath. The sword vibrated and hummed in her hand, primed and ready for a fight. "A weak one like you? Yes." Chalcedony felt a grin spread across her face as she held Mayhem. She was tempted to draw the fight out, play with them, let them think she had a chance against a queen, but the real fight was inside. She tamped down the adrenaline and excitement she was feeling from Mayhem and lunged. The giant parried and swung her axe towards Chalcedony with surprising speed. Chalcedony phased and reappeared behind the giant just before she completed the full swing of her axe. Chalcedony's first impulse was to plunge Mayhem straight through the giant's back. Because of the sword, Chalcedony knew exactly where to strike in order to slip through the giant's ribs and pierce the heart. To Mayhem's disapproval, Chalcedony faltered. She had never killed anyone. A memory of Dede, Elizabeth's mother, the woman who had committed suicide, flashed through her mind. She had killed someone before, Mayhem reminded her, or was it her own guilt pulling at her? She couldn't tell the two apart. Instinctively, Chalcedony dropped to her knees, narrowly missing the giant's axe. She shook off the guilt, an image of Dede, and with one forceful arc of Mayhem, she sliced both of the giant's calves. The giant fell to the ground, screaming in agony, clutching the backs of her legs. Crimson blood coursed underneath her hand like pieces of thick red ribbons. Hearing a rumble from behind, Chalcedony turned, prepared to counter an attack. Instead, she saw Cole. He had transformed into an 8.5-foot tall giant. His dark skin was covered with sweat, and it glistened in the sunlight. He'd picked up the giant's fallen axe and was swinging his weapon at 2 elves in short, quick, and deadly arcs. Mayhem vibrated with jealousy as Chalcedony watched Cole fight off the remaining guards. How was he able to grow so big, but still move so quickly? The fact that he was an elf, and not only an elf but a shapeshifter, was still shocking. She was witnessing the impossible. "I told you to stay on the hill," she said, recovering from the surprise, trying to make her voice sound as normal and confident as possible. "I don't take orders from you," he replied with a clipped voice. "You need to answer my questions."